What's up? I'm back. In this segment, I'm going to talk about vegetarianism. Um, to start, you know, so far I'm the person doing videos on this channel, but I'm going to invite other healers to do videos on this channel. So you might get healers who eventually do videos who would advocate staunch vegetarianism or veganism or raw foodism, which is all kind of similar. Um, Differences here and there, raw food, they only eat food that's alive. Obviously, meat, they want to eat meat. Vegetarians obviously don't eat meat, but they might eat. Some vegetarians might still consume meat products, animal products, like eggs or milk. They may be talking about flesh. And vegans obviously don't eat anything that comes from an animal. So they all have similarities, but they're all a little different. So they might do videos and they might advocate it. This is fine. This channel's about unity. I'm talking about from my point of view. From my point of view, I don't necessarily think you have to be a vegetarian per se. I think you have to, from what I found, and again, everybody's body's different. So that's the thing too. A lot of times when we talk about healing, we don't really realize everybody's body's different. That's the biggest thing. So because of that, what may work for one person may not work for another person. That's why sometimes healing tends to be a little complicated. It's really not complicated, but people make it complicated because what happens is that when you're just looking at it from a textbook point of view, then you're gonna be like, okay, you gotta do A, you gotta do B to get to C. But when you have real life experience, when you're dealing with different nationalities, different blood types, different economic, well, something economic, but different environmental problems or circumstances, what may work in one environment for one person may not work for the other person. So I think we can agree that people, even if you're even some healers who advocate meat occasionally or meat depending on your season that you're in, we as healers, most people or people who practice alternative medicine, we could all agree that people eat too much meat. I think right now in the West, I would probably have to say when you look at animal products and processed foods, probably 80%, 90% of people's diets, you know. Whereas you're probably supposed to have 70, 80% a diet. Fruits and vegetables probably supposed to be 70, 80% of your diet. So when they go from 70, 80% of your diet to about 10% or 5%, or for a lot of people, let's keep it real, 0% of it, because I'm not going to count french fries and stuff like that as vegetables. You can. That's why I'm just giving you 5%. Some people, you're on zero. When you go from 70, 80% to 5 and 10%, of course you're gonna have health problems. So I think we all could agree that people eat too much meat. Um, I for me per se, I feel that everything has a place. I mean, I advocate sometimes. I mean, some people consume metals for medicine. Everything in nature has a place, and I think animals or eating meat does have a place. I think people do it too much. I think even if you say once a week, probably is too much. To be honest. Now, I think in the colder months you do probably have to eat, especially if you're in a cold environment. I think you probably have to eat, or you should probably increase your meat intake. So once a week or twice a week, if you're in Scandinavia, Sweden, or Denmark, or even Rhode Island, then that's different. Then you have no argument for me from that. I think that then you have to eat a little meat. But I think for the most part, the problem is we eat too much meat. So I think most people don't really realize that most of your diet is supposed to be at least. I mean, people could argue, but at least 70% vegetable. Now, whether you talk about raw or not, if you cook vegetables, you're probably supposed to steam it. If you fry the vegetables, it's like killing them. So it's like not eating vegetables at all. So that's the biggest thing. And I think what happens with vegetarianism, I think that sometimes people as a whole, in my opinion, can get more extreme because we're coming into a world that, a lot of people think the world's gonna get a lot better. It will eventually, but we're gonna go through a little dark periods at first. And even though I love alternative medicine, I'm a survivalist too. I kind of take part in both camps because believe it or not, sometimes both camps are separate camps. Survivalists, if you don't know, are people who kind of are prepared for times to get bad. So they might stack up on guns or stack up on food or just prepare solar battery type people. Normally, about 5, 10 years ago, those people would probably be considered lunatics. Now people are starting to see that they may have a place. So them and healers or the alternative medicine community tend to be two different communities. I'm a member of both. So for me personally, as the survivor in me realizes that the time might come where you might have to eat things that you normally wouldn't eat. So I think for the most part, you don't want to get caught up in a situation where you some things might happen, and it doesn't have to even get into being a survivalist. I've known. I remember I had a cousin who's a vegetarian. And it's a funny story. We went to Venezuela, right? There was nothing. There was no vegetarian dish, so he said, "Let me eat a chicken salad." Right? He ate chicken salad. He went to the hospital. Why? Because he never. Doctor said that his body had a reaction to the meat. He never ate meat in his life. Parents are very health conscious. I got to give it to them, but he never ate meat in his life. For me personally, I don't like to be in situations like that. For me, I think that everything has a balance, and I think that some meat has a place. Again, people are going to take some meat and think I'm running with it. If you listen to the video, I said probably even once a week is too much. Probably should be twice a month at most. And I think even then, you probably, if you're in a warm environment, should have at least 4 to 6 months where you don't even consume meat at all. To be honest, at least at least in the summertime, don't even consume it at all if you can. Again, everybody's on different stages. Doesn't mean you watch this video and then you eating meat every day and all of a sudden try to not eat meat. That's not gonna work. I'm saying once you make the decision to make your health better, to improve your health, you take it one step at a time. So it's the same thing with fish. Fish to me is a great transition food. I mean, if you're a heavy meat eater and you're trying to wean yourself off, I would say eat fish. Eventually, you're trying to wean yourself off of fish too, but fish is a good transition food. And I probably had to make a separate video about transition foods, but I think people tend to get very extreme. And for me personally, um, the problem that most people have is that when they look at even raw foods, right, they will say, "Oh, this could heal my body of any disease." That's true, technically, right? You practice certain type of food or diet, you can't cure your body of almost any disease. The problem comes in, or because you cured your body doesn't mean you're supposed to eat that 100% of the time. Now I know that's gonna go over people's heads, but there definitely sometimes has to. For instance, how does your immune system work? Your immune system works because it actually takes in poisons at times and it builds a defense for it. If you never were around germs, you might get poisoned. You might get sick. Somebody who's been around germs has an immunity to it. So, in a sense, from my perspective, especially in the world that we exist now, because I think a lot of times people don't really realize a lot of these diets that people advocate, a lot of vegetarian diets people advocate were actually conducted by monks or people who weren't in civilization or people who were in a time where things were different. I mean, the fact that we got all these photochemicals in our foods, even organic, I mean, you're still getting chemicals anyway. So I think sometimes you have to be realistic and look at the environment that you're in and realize that you have to be able to be adaptable. Now, I've got to keep saying this again. I know people are going to look at this video and say, SK says, I can eat meat every day. Or I said, no. If you want to eat meat every day, you can. That's up to you. I'm not advocating that. I'm saying even once a week is too much. What I'm saying from my point of view is that some meat does help at times. It helps ground you. You ever look at a lot of people who sometimes might be eating a certain type of diet and they look like they're in space or they don't look physically healthy? For me personally, um, I haven't really caught a cold like in, I don't know, probably 7 years, could be more. I haven't got seriously sick in 14 years, straight up. I'm in the West Coast now, but I was in the East Coast a long time, with a lot of cold environments, and haven't got sick at all. And for me personally, I consume meat by twice a month. So it's up to you. Definitely though, don't look at this video and say I said that you can eat meat every day. For the most part, I stress balance. For me, true healing comes from balancement. So the time will come when you probably, I mean, because if you think about it, if I'm telling you eat meat twice a month, and even if you when you go into summertime, try to go 4 to 6, try to at least the whole spring and summertime go without eating meat at all. Majority of the year, you're not gonna be eating meat. You're gonna be like a vegetarian for the most part. But for me, optimum healing is optimum balance. That's just my opinion. Now, I'm gonna get some hate mail from this, but hey, it's part of the game. Hate, right? So in essence, for me, balancement, look at yourself, and sometimes what you have to sort of get used to, you have to get used to being able to experiment in your body. Because everybody's body is different. There's some people who tell you they eat little meat sometimes and they're healthy. There's some people who they can't eat meat at all. And I actually think a lot of people shouldn't eat meat at all. There's a lot of people right now who are so unhealthy. Because this is the key element that a lot of people miss. I hate, and I want to make this a short video, but I have to wrap it up. If you're not healthy, or if you consider yourself not healthy, you should not eat meat at all. That part is true. There's no question about it. And now, honestly, 40 to 50% of us are probably not healthy at all, right? Some people think not healthy is actually going to a doctor and having disease, but a lot of us are not healthy at all. At all. So if you fall under that banner, you should not eat meat, to be honest. You shouldn't eat meat at all. You should probably have a strictly right now, and if you have a serious disease, definitely no. And shift into a more raw food diet, a more natural diet. Now, for the most part, people gonna look at this and they're gonna think that I'm anti-vegetarianism. I'm not at all. For me personally, if you eat meat twice a month, and then you have 4 to 6 months where you don't eat meat, I mean, you're probably eating meat probably then 10 to 12 times a year. To me, that might as well be a vegetarian anyway. But to each his own. Remember, the purpose of this video is balancement. Balancement is the key to healing. The reason why I think 40% of the population straight up shouldn't eat meat because most of the population, that 40% is seriously sick. So because you're seriously sick, you have to go to the other extreme to reset your body. Hope this helps. Till next time. Peace.